What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Okay, I'm glad you guys are back because I've got another video kind of along the same vein as the one from, well, for you that would be yesterday. For me, that would be 5 seconds ago because I just clicked stop because that's how I do it, folks. Whenever I record my videos, I'll hit record, I'll hit stop, pause for a second, then hit record again and go on to the next one. I do that 3 times a day. Yeah, well, yeah, 3 times a day, most of the time. Except on weekends, I only do 2 videos a day. But this is along the same vein, as a matter of fact. Check this out, y'all. Trump orders the creation of a special unit for Washington. Now, they left out some pertinent information out of that headline. A special National Guard unit specifically directed toward crime. Yeah, but they just forgot to tell you that, but I figure that's kind of pertinent information to know before we start reading the news. Okay, so now Donald Trump has created a specified unit for crime fighting, for crying out loud, and he's going to send them all over the damn country. Yay for defeating crime, for crying out loud. Like, what Trump is doing is just amazing. It simply is. Once again, anything negative he's done, like with the Epstein stuff, Signalgate, and all these other little minor scandals, it's totally just drowned out by all of the good things that are coming out of this Trump administration, y'all. It really is. The U.S. president already sent National Guard troops to the federal capital, Washington, weeks ago, ostensibly because of rampant crime. However, Trump feels their deployment isn't enough. Now he's establishing a special unit which could soon be deployed across the country. Yay for that. That's what I gotta say. U.S. President Donald Trump is attempting to expand control of the capital, Washington, D.C., through the National Guard. In a decree, Trump ordered the creation of a specialized unit of the D.C. National Guard trained to ensure public safety and order. National Guardsmen in other states should also receive such training. The decree further states they should be able to deploy nationwide in the event of potential unrest. So, you remember last Trump term, 2020, when I was kind of pissed off, like, what are you doing, Trump? I thought we were the anti-crime party over here, right? I've never been a registered Republican, but, you know, I agree a lot with Donald Trump's worldview, for crying out loud. We need to fight crime as hard, much harder, like a lot harder than crime is fought against us, right? So we need to push back. It needs to be at least tenfold in return. You commit a crime, you're going to jail for a long time, essentially. And then we're going to patrol a whole hell of a lot more because of that. But look, in 2020, all these riots, there was protests. And I once again, I criticized Donald Trump heavily for this. And I think it's a really bad look on Donald Trump, at least in his first term, that he allowed all these riots, call up the governor doesn't want National Guard help. Donald Trump should have said, screw that, he's send them in anyway. Stop these people from rioting. It's not stopping the protests. The protests are fine. It's the riots. It's the burning of businesses. It's the burning of neighborhoods. It's the burning of federal courthouses and police stations. And damage to property, for crying out loud. And damage to people. Innocent civilians getting caught up in the mix. Getting gravely injured. Losing their life in some cases. It's absurd. And we criticize Donald Trump for not deploying the National Guard. And it was all because, I have no problem saying this, he wanted to get elected again. And he thought if he just kind of sat back and just, you know, we'll let the governors take care of it, that maybe some Democrats would vote for him. I don't know what the hell he was really thinking. These people view you as Cheeto Hitler, my dude. They are never going to vote for you. Why do you even care what they say? It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. So we criticize Donald Trump for that. There's a lot of criticisms. He hired a lot of bad people. He made a lot of stupid moves. It is what it is. But this time around, holy crap, doesn't give a F at all. And just going in and go for it, dude. Like, seriously, like I always say, ignore the freaking noise. If you know what you're doing is righteous and it falls within the boundaries of the law, do it. Go for it. That's what I say. If you know you're right, Just take them out. With an eye on the Capitol, Washington, Trump also ordered the hiring of additional prosecutors and parks officers. I almost said officials. Why parks officers, I wonder. That's fascinating. It's weird. I understand prosecutors for sure. He also announced plans to restrict the options for arrestees to be released on bail. That is right. He signed another executive order today ending cashless bail. Like, I never understood the soft on crime policies from Democrats. They think, oh, well, there's some disparate impact on these communities, so we're going to just coddle them instead of holding them accountable for their actions, and maybe they'll straighten their ways up. They need more housing, for crying out loud. They need more food stamps and welfare. Throwing money at problems never fixes anything. And speaking of that, by the way, if you go look at some of these like Section 8 homes and government apartments, like projects as we call them, are those places crime-free, by the way, where everybody is pretty much living almost rent-free? Or for rent, very, very cheap rent? Are those places crime-free, by the way? Where the same people that get welfare and food stamps and Medicaid and Medicare, they get all these government handouts? Are those people not committing crimes or something? No, as a matter of fact, that's where most of the crime is being committed. That's fascinating. Huh. So you're saying let's do more of that? That'll fix the crime problem? That's the argument from Democrats. Oh, they're just poor. They need more government handouts. That's what we hear from these people. Calling Donald Trump an authoritarian for enforcing laws. So what are you saying, Democrat? See, this is fascinating because when Donald Trump makes moves like this, it puts Democrats in a really tough spot. Because if they come out against it, which they're doing, which is stupid, now they're actually advocating for more crime. It's genius on Trump's behalf. It's a genius administration. He's hired all the right people, I think. Because a move like this, Democrats are going to be antithetical to whatever you say, whatever you do. They're going to do the opposite. They're going to argue the opposite. So you come out in favor of crime, law enforcement, essentially. Well, they're going to come out in favor of no law enforcement, of more crime, as a matter of fact. And that's exactly what they're doing. It's almost like he's goading them into doing anything that he wants them to do. It's fascinating. It really, really is. I mean, think about that for a second. You've got these mayors in these cities saying this is authoritarianism because Donald Trump wants to help you guys with your crime problem. Okay, buddy. So you're in favor of crime. I get it. Look, I totally get it. But you guys, y'all got to get out of this mindset, this mentality of just be anti-Donald Trump. Whatever he does, do the opposite. You got to get out of that because you're putting your foot in your mouth. You're going to run out of feet eventually. I'm just saying. On August 11th, Trump ordered National Guard troops into the Democratic stronghold of Washington, D.C., citing alleged rampant violent crime. Indeed, crime in the U.S. Capitol has been declining for years. Oh, has it, though? But has it? Hang on just a second. The guy that's in charge of those statistics, as a matter of fact, is now not only being investigated by the federal government for manipulating the crime data, but also the House of Representatives is going after this same guy and investigating the manipulation of crime data. We know they manipulate the crime data. As a matter of fact, under Joe Biden, they manipulated the crime data heavily. I'm just saying. Oh, crime is at a 30-year low, according to them. It's down 26%. Okay, that's another thing. Okay, in 2020, we had this spike in crime. It shoots way up. Oh, we're down 30% from that spike. So are we at below where we were before that spike? No, we're not, folks. We still have high crime. But the corporate press, leave it to them to say, indeed, crime is down. Is it? Doesn't seem like it is. But don't let your lying eyes fool you. All that stuff you see, that's just anecdotal, by the way. All the crime you see, each one of those, that's an anecdote. You can't use anecdote to make an argument. We got to use data. Manipulated data. As a matter of fact, I never understood that, by the way. You hear that all the time. Well, that's just an anecdote. Well, hang on just a second. You're wanting to use data, and then I use an anecdote, which is part of that data. I'm just saying. Look, I get it. I'm just saying, though. That's it. That's all I'm saying. Violent crimes between January 1st, 2025 and August 11th, the date the National Guard was deployed, fell by 26% compared to the same period last year. Oh, so you mean when Donald Trump was about to come into office? When Donald Trump comes in, crime goes down 26%. So that means whatever Donald Trump is doing is good. Was that supposed to be an argument against the National Guard coming in? Or was that supposed to be an argument against the Democratic-ran city? I mean, I have no idea. You tell me. Because to me, that sounds like praise for Donald Trump. Indeed, crime has been declining. For years, they say. All the way back to the first of this year. See how they manipulate everything, y'all? It's fascinating. According to the Metropolitan Police, property crime fell by 4%. Nevertheless, more than 2,200 National Guard troops are now active in the capital, coming from Washington, but also from several conservatively governed states. Why couldn't you just say red states or Republican states? Conservatively. National Guardsmen have been deployed armed since Sunday. U.S. media confirms this, citing a National Guard statement and eyewitnesses. They are authorized to use their weapons as a last resort and solely in response to an imminent threat of death or serious bodily harm. The Washington Post and the New York Times both quote from the National Guard statement. Trump has also threatened other Democratic-governed cities such as Chicago, New York, and Baltimore with Washington-like measures. Critics accuse Trump of exaggerating the extent of crime with right-wing rhetoric to justify increasingly authoritarian measures. Once again, folks, let them make those arguments. You are arguing. You're essentially crashing out here. That's what Democrats are doing. They're like crash dummies. That's kind of how I'm seeing it right now. Because Donald Trump says, look, you've got a crime problem. It doesn't matter if it's been falling since the first of the year. The crime is still high. Like, you could sit there and tell me, oh, well, this is down 26%. Property crime is down 4%. So is that an argument against enforcing crime? I mean, enforcing the laws? Sorry, I do that often. I used the wrong word. But, I mean, is that an argument against it? Because it came down 4% or 26%? That we just, we don't need law enforcement anymore. Look, there's no more crime. It doesn't make any sense. It makes them look like a bunch of fools, is what it does. And it's just expertly done by Donald Trump. Once again, folks, like I was saying at the beginning, it's like he does these things knowing they're going to come out against it. And it just destroys the party. It really does, and it's fascinating to watch. I love watching it myself. But I think I've rambled on for long enough. Y'all don't forget to smash that like button for me. Share this video anywhere and everywhere you can. Subscribe. I know I flipped those around. I usually do it in a specific order, but I didn't this time. So y'all subscribe if you like what you heard. And click that join button, by the way. If you're going to do anything, do that one. Click that join button. Because not only if you're not subscribed, that would automatically subscribe you. You'd have to subscribe, essentially, to click the join button. And then clicking the join button would make you my best friend ever, by the way. But y'all do all that. Y'all remember that God is always with us. And he loves each and every one of you out there. So y'all try to have a good day. And stay legitical. Peace. And I did forget to say, y'all let me know what